Is Disney going to copyright strike us again?
Yeah. Nope.
There's a first time for everything.
Yeah, you got. I mean, I feel like that's just you got to get a copyright strike, right?
Yep.
Right.
So make you official.
At least Disney's lawyers know we exist now.
Yeah.
We're moving up, guys.
The real question is Justin ever coming back?
No.
Who?
Should we hold tryouts for our new 5th member? I feel like we should.
2, 1, go.
I think Bonnie's in the lead right now, though.
I can definitely say that. That's a safe assumption.
I say we just retire Justin since he's no longer a part and just bring Bonnie in.
Y'all are rude.
We love you.
We'll do like
Justin.
We'll do like a in memoriam Alanis Morissette video. You know, I will remember you.
Justin, I will wait for you forever. I'm not listening to them.
I'm just saying, Justin left us. Okay, it's not the other way around. He left us.
Yeah,
Okay?
he had real family things. It happens.
You know what?
Real family things do happen, for sure.
They do.
So, we are live. This is our 15th episode, guys.
Oh!
We have made it to
weeks.
15. And we actually still have people that come in every once in a while, which
That's
is
what's up.
that's crazy. After 15, they think they'd be tired of us.
I'm tired of this.
They don't know about Star Wars, man.
I think
Okay, Joey's gone. See you later, Joey.
Hey, we down to 3 members.
Yeah. Slowly taking them all out.
I was about to say I think they're sticking around for Sonic, but if you don't want me to say that, I guess I'll just.
Oh, okay. So, speaking of that, might as well talk about that. Our sponsor, Sonic.
Grape slush.
I pretty much have lived there this whole week. I've been like running around, and so I've got like a sweet tea and a Coke almost every day this week.
That's awesome.
Can't go wrong with sweet tea in the summer, man.
And it's pretty sweet. It's like
can't go wrong with Sonic.
Anyways, thank you, Sonic, for hanging out with us, being a part
Appreciate
of this.
you. Thank you.
I had it for lunch today. It's good.
What did you have?
I had the number 1, just a regular hamburger. Number 1, I had cheese tots, and I had a cherry limeade.
Cherry limeade's always good too. That's
Now
a good
I'm
summer
hungry.
one. That's a good summer. Yeah, I am kind of hungry now.
So the other day I did. So right now they're running they're doing this Red Bull summer thing. It's the summer edition Red Bull thing. It's like a watermelon
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is part of happy hour. And listen, I haven't had a Red Bull in years because I shunned that stuff off. But I was like, why not? I need some energy.
I've never had a Red Bull ever.
How did that treat you?
I mean, I got a lot of work done at my house when I got home. So
How was the crash? That's the question.
the crash.
Yeah, like don't you have a huge crash after all that caffeine?
I did. No, I didn't. I have a lot of caffeine. I probably have too much caffeine. Coffee. Lots of coffee.
I'd have to up my blood pressure medicine if I had a Red Bull. So probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I feel like my heart would probably explode.
Exactly.
Hey, Joey, they want to know what's in the pork cup, bro.
That's a good question.
It's
Not for
a
children.
It's a surprise.
Sorry, I was trying to get my camera different here. It's bugging me.
Hey, this is behind the scenes, guys.
Hey.
Literally.
I think it was better when we started.
There you go, guys. How's that?
Oh, that's perfect,
Oh,
man.
that's
Actually, an
perfect.
improvement. Man, is it just me or does Joey look great today?
That looks Vader. That's Vader's helmet right there.
That's high quality.
Well, I was looking off to the side and I wanted to look more straight on. So that was it.
I like it. I like your lights behind you. Those are pretty cool too.
Yeah. We're a work in progress still.
We're always a work in progress.
Yeah.
This episode is definitely a work in progress. Okay, guys. So, thank you for joining us today. We
do
are
love
the
that cup.
Marauders.
How much
Did
was
you
that
interrupt
cup?
me?
I did 100%. He showed me the port cup.
Probably like $100 at Disney.
Worth it. Worth every penny.
If- what? What?
White chocolate Jesus.
That's him.
I want to get onto this gallery. Like, we got lots to talk about.
Okay, so real quick, everybody, introduce yourselves.
What's going on? Oh, my bad. My bad.
No, you've already gone. No, you've already started it.
What's going on, y'all? This is the Ace DeLorean, aka Ace Kennedy, and I'm here for you. All things Star Wars.
Next,
Oh, is that me?
whoever wants to go.
Joey Wall, right here. I was a Sith last. What was I? What was that last week? I don't remember. Today I'm a Sith Lord, Joey Wall. That's what I'm in right here.
Today, apparently, you're white chocolate Jesus. That's what
Boom.
Sam said.
That is far better than a Sith Lord. I'm
So I
Shane.
guess-
Still the idea guy.
Still the idea, guy.
Still the idea guy. Still waiting on Disney to give me a call. Hire
I
me.
seriously thought you were going to crack a joke on Ace's name before we even got started, and you haven't said anything about it.
No, I got that in pre-stream. Got it out of my system.
You scared him saying that you were ready for that, and he's not going to do it.
No, you know what? Just you can't let Ace know I'm coming. Don't you worry.
And I am Jared the Ghost, because right now I am on the bad side of the house, and the light is just like destroying me right now.
I was thinking
So-
the Stay Puft Marshmallow from
You're gone.
I love it.
We may or may not bring Shane the bad
idea.
guy back.
C3PP, get him back in here.
Hey,
There he
look, I
is.
moved up. You kicked me out, I moved up. I like it.
Actually, what he did is he put you under him.
That is true. That is true. Jared, you know I love you.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, okay, so let's get on with this. People are probably sick of this already. So, review of the last gallery episode. That was a great episode, honestly. There was a lot of stuff that I had no idea about, all the little extra stuff they brought in. So, who wants to start with it?
I just want to say one thing and then I will pass it. I just like the fact that, with Star Wars, how we talk about this all the time about being able to take a character that might be underused or minorly used in the major plot point and make it into a main character. So the fact that they took all of the B and C rated characters that nobody wanted to play with, what he kind of said was that the toys that the big brother didn't want to play with, and put those and made those all major players in this particular series, and turned out to be incredible. So I love the fact that they were able to take those characters and make them into something major.
Yeah. Shane, Joey, who wants to go next?
I got lots of thoughts. Obviously, I had heard the story already about the ice cream man, and it was cool to hear him tell it again. I
What's his
didn't
name?
realize
Oh,
that
I
they
forgot
made
his
an
name.
action figure. I did not know that.
I didn't know there was
Which
an
is-
action figure either.
So what we're talking about, for people that don't know, in Empire Strikes Back, when they're in Cloud City, real fast, there's a guy. He's just an extra running across the screen really fast, and he's holding what looks like an ice cream maker.
What was his
Well,
name?
legitimately, it was an ice cream maker.
Do you remember the name?
I'll look it up.
Yeah. Anyways, he's holding what is a legitimate ice cream maker, and so at the Star Wars events, people actually dress up as this guy.
Wilro Hood.
That's
There you
it.
go.
What was
And
it? Say it again.
Wilro Hood.
yeah, Wilro. And so people actually dress up as this guy, and it was a big deal. And so I felt like John, of all the things he did, I felt like this was like his crowning achievement. He was so proud of himself because he took that ice cream maker and he turned it into something. And that's where they hold the Veskar in. and it was just really cool. I love how he talked about it being kind of like what's the movie Pulp Fiction, when they open up the briefcase and stuff. So I had heard the story. That's him. Yeah.
There's the actual figure
with the ice cream maker.
With his ice cream
with the
maker.
ice cream maker right there.
And that's kind of the thing to do, is to carry that. And they said it's really hard to get that actual model of ice cream maker. So Star Wars fans are amazing.
Just
We
amazing.
destroy things.
Listen, Star Wars fans are the best. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest with our however many people we have in here. I kind of started tearing up when at the very end they started talking about the 501st coming in, which is a group of people that like make their own stormtrooper armor, and they've become and they do a lot of charity events and this and that. There's a bunch of them all over, and they kind of go do different things. And John was talking about how we didn't have enough stormtroopers. We didn't have enough costumes for this scene. And so they called up the 501st to come in, and they didn't know what they were coming into. And these are like fans. Like this is us. This is all of us. If you're watching this and you're doing a podcast, you're a fan of Star Wars, right? And so these guys, they show up and like, what? We're going to be in The Mandalorian? And they're just blown away. And I just to think about like the time it takes, like these is all they handcrafted all their freaking armor. It's just insane.
And they actually, it looks good too. It's not like somebody took a bunch of toilet paper rolls and wrapped them together and weird stuff. Yeah.
I also love how they go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the other thing too was that, like Dave Filoni said they know how to be stormtroopers.
Yep.
Like they had the movements. They didn't have to do much training at all. It was just like, hey, we need you to do this, and they were able to do it. So it was cool to hear all the different people from the locations that they were at. Sorry, Joey.
No, that's it. Just cool that they literally didn't have to coach them. They all this is how a stormtrooper holds a blaster. This is how he moves.
These are actual pictures from the 501st Legion themselves.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, these are fans. These are people that have grown up with it. I mean, what other franchise is like Star Wars? I mean, it's amazing. And
look how good that armor is.
You could not pick better people than Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. I mean,
that's a dope picture right there.
All the cuts that they were doing. I also loved in that there was one moment where Jon Favreau, again, super proud about the holiday special where he got the weapon that Boba Fett had.
Yes.
And he's like, hey, it's that weapon. And George's like, I had nothing to do with that.
What?
Well, I didn't do that. Wow.
The look on George's face, he's just like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, the look on his face was like, I'm still waiting for people to forget that ever happened.
The holiday special. It was so cool to see all the throwbacks. I mean, all the little, the characters they picked, for the animals, just so cool.
You know what's funny is like when I saw it a Mandalorian, because I'm into the role-playing game, I'm into all this stuff, I know these characters already, it really didn't really shock me to see the characters. Like, I mean, it was normal to me. It was like, yeah, there's IG, of course there's IG, of course there's, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, but as they were walking through and talking about bringing all this stuff in, it was like, oh, wow, yeah. That really hasn't been really utilized, but in my mind, it's part of Star Wars. Like I know that part, even though we haven't seen it. And so,
actually, Joey Wall, that's IG-11. That's not IG-88. Yeah. Just wanted to correct you on that.
Thank you. Super Star Wars fan there.
Well, there was
gatekeeper extraordinaire above me. No, but so. Getting it. Does anybody else have? Because I'm gonna kind of wrap something up here about that, but it might take us off topic. But does anybody have anything else they want to talk about?
Yeah, real quick.
Yes, please.
Like there were a lot of little nuances that I didn't even think about. Like when they went into the cantina, and in the first New Hope, they were like, no droids allowed. But then you have a droid that's actually at the bar talking to people, giving drinks and stuff. And the fact that was
R5.
who
Oh,
was
sorry.
the voice.
Oh, Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker.
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
If you want his real name, Mark Hamill. Let's just call him the Joker.
Who's Mark Hamill? We know Luke. So. But it was just little things like that. Yeah, and obviously like IG-88, IG-11, those characters being pulled together. If you've watched all the episodes of that, the one theme that I've noticed through the whole thing is you don't see Kathleen Kennedy very much. And then you also... I'm just messing with Yace.
She did have one line about being rich parents at the very end. So
she did. So that's a good segue into what I wanted to talk about. Listen, it is, okay.
Hold on real quick.
Okay,
Their love for Star Wars through the whole thing, that's really what I was going to get at. I just want to make a quick jab. But you could tell from every episode, their faces light up every time they're talking about the swords and the 501st. They were just as excited having those guys there as those guys were being there. I got chills when they were talking about the 501st and how they actually brought other people in. All that was really cool. I love that episode.
Charles, what are you talking about? Jesus Ahmad. Like I need extra clarification on that. Nothing.
So,
Bad idea, guy. Did you have something?
oh yeah. So I didn't realize you were talking to me. I'm like, who's this guy? We bringing someone else on stream. Oh god.
Bring in bad idea.
It was really cool for me. It's kind of what Jared said. Just the overall love of Star Wars, and you see it in every little detail they put into it. Like, I didn't catch a lot of them. Like, obviously the Flame Trooper from the video games. You got callbacks from almost every episode of Star Wars, from the video games, from the cartoons. Like, all these little things that they put into it, and it's just. It's two guys. I think they made an analogy where they were doing this while episode 9 was being filmed. So he's like, we're the little brother and he's got all the cool toys and we get all the old toys and the cast offs. And, we just happen to have a Boba Fett action figure that we spray paint silver. And, that's where we get the Mandalorian. And it's cool. They're using all the cast offs and they're using just, old stuff and, they use it to make one of the coolest Star Wars stories there is. And I just, so much love is poured into it. And this episode was just so much fun to see. Really it's they pitch an idea and then, the artists run with it and they draw up a sketch and then, Weta, good Lord, I'm thinking Lord of the Rings. Help me out. Who am I talking about? FX.
The LGM.
Come on, see?
ILM.
Thank you. Yes. So then ILM gets the sketch and they run with it and they give them ideas. And then the next thing we've got a new character. We've got a cool new scene. It's just so cool to see what they're able to do in a television series. Obviously the sky's the limit now. We got Disney Plus and I think we're going to get a bunch more. And it's just. I hope they put this amount of love into all the series because it just shows. Love it.
Filoni's awkwardness when he's in the X-wing, when he's talking about that whole thing, and you actually see him in the cockpit and he's giving the line, and he's just like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm here."
Yo, how boss was it though for them to snatch that X-wing before it went to Florida?
It was on its yeah.
Bring that over here.
Yeah, and then they cut it up because it had reinforcing inside. They're like, no, this isn't going to work. So they chop it up and put a seat in it. How cool is that?
That's crazy.
So that actual X-wing is sitting out on the lot. So it's the one you see when you go in.
I saw it. I didn't realize what I was looking at, but I got to see it. Yeah, and then also too, I thought it was the other thing on the picture that was real cool was when there was that picture that someone mocked up of the TIE fighter with the foils down and the landing gears, and they were like, really "We've never seen that in live action," and it was just that was cool.
That was epic. That was pretty
really cool.
I didn't know. Were they supposed to do that? Was that original concept? They were supposed to fold.
Oh, we never really seen them land though. So
we've always seen him hooked up to something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So it was
that was
really
cool though.
Yeah, very cool. So all I was going to say is like, so we're talking, I mean, Ahmad, all you guys hit on the nail, which is the care that they went with this. And I promise you, this is going to sound like a knock, but I do not mean this as like a knock on anybody. I really don't, because this could be a plus thing. And this is all I'm going to say is like, so I just think like you look at like Rian Johnson, right? And I think he made the movie he wanted, right? He made the movie he wanted. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's what's needed sometimes. You need to be proud of what you do. I'm not knocking that. But to look at Jon Favreau, this episode, if anything, the key of it is he made the movie that the fans wanted. You know what I mean? He constantly looked at it through the eyes of what the fans want and not what he wanted to do. And so I just think that that's the thing that people that have been in this universe for 40 plus years appreciate and get to have something amazing being a part of it. You know what I mean? Versus, you know, again, sometimes you need to make the movie that you want to make. But personally, that's the way I feel. I'm not saying Ryan didn't do anything for the fans. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think he made a movie that he was proud of, that he wanted to do, versus John making, this is the movie I'm making for the fans.
And see, this is why I disagree with you, because I think that both, of course not. I wouldn't be me if I didn't. I think that both Rian Johnson and Favreau both made what they thought fans would appreciate. I think it was evident when Dave Filoni was saying that, you know, we as Star Wars fans take stuff too seriously, and that like we're trying to focus on this, but then they want to focus on this little bitty detail. The thing is whenever you create something, when it comes to Star Wars, you never know what the outcome is going to be. Yes, because even in Mandalorian, even though it's mostly universally loved, there were a bunch of episodes that were crap. And so my thing is that when you're fleshing out a entire series that is basically 8 hours versus, well, it's not even that, because the episodes was like 23, 24 minutes. So, you know, the overall, what I'm trying to say is that I think Rian Johnson put as much attention to detail as Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni did with this movie. It just didn't resonate well with a lot of people. Whereas The Mandalorian was a little bit more successful when it comes to being critically acclaimed amongst fans. So I think that both of them put the attention to detail in there. It just wasn't received well by a lot of people.
I mean, I could see that, but
there weren't a bunch of episodes that were crap. You know,
there was.
And I'm just going
there really
off of,
wasn't.
there were a few that were.
There were some
low.
slower episodes, but they weren't crap.
Yeah,
and there were definitely.
They weren't up to par with the rest of the season, is what I'm saying. Just like there are certain episodes in the episodic series that don't measure up to the other episodes.
Yeah,
in the
there were some slower episodes.
And I don't disagree with that, because y'all, I'm pretty clear on what I thought about. I mean, I think Mandalorian's amazing.
Yeah.
But there are episodes you can put in a different order and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right.
So there are some things like that. But I'm also going off of two, you know, because I mean, Ahmad, me and you were like so stoked about The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
We were like watching all the behind the stuff, I listened to Rian Johnson talk a lot.
Yeah.
And the thing he kept echoing is he said, they're letting me make the movie that I want to make. You know what I mean? That was kind of his sentiment.
Right. But I think with that, though, I'm thinking that more so they didn't have any handcuffs on what he could and couldn't do. Not so much that he, like, yes, he did make the movie he wanted to make that he thought fans would appreciate. Watching the director and the Jedi, nobody can tell me that Rian Johnson did not care about this movie, that he didn't care about Star Wars, and that he did not want the fans to enjoy this movie.
Okay, obviously he wants people to enjoy the film. I think he made I think he cared more about his look as a producer than he did about the universe of Star Wars.
And I disagree with that. Again, after watching the director and the Jedi, I feel like that he made the movie that he thought that the fans would appreciate. I mean, everything he said within that segment just let me know that he really cared. Like, he was a fan first.
Well,
and the thing was that I think one of the biggest things,
Luke Skywalker.
The biggest thing that he did take a swing on was Luke Skywalker, which was entire director and the Jedi. And I think that was, that was a big swing. But at the same time, again, Star Wars fans, after watching the Force Awakens, said how they wanted something to be different. It was different. It wasn't the Luke Skywalker everybody wanted, but it was the Luke Skywalker that was in line with the rest of Star Wars that led up to The Last Jedi.
I mean, do you want to go, Shane?
No, you go ahead. I feel like this is a merry-go-round. We don't seem to get off.
It's not a merry-go-round. Just stating facts. That's all.
He wants to say there's crap episodes. Well, episode 8 is a pile of crap. So I mean, come on, give me 2, maybe 3 bad episodes of The Mandalorian over 3 hours of just pure garbage from Rian Johnson. So
that's where we're going to disagree too, because it's like I just think actions speak louder than words. And like you can sit there and tell me you love the fans and you're in it for the fans, but when we look at the product, I don't think we see that. That's my opinion. I know that you see it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what you saw. So that's what I'm saying. So that's
a lot of people. But.
You're right.
And he made a movie to try to win awards, and that's. But
here's the thing, though. Just because a lot of people saw what they wanted to see doesn't mean that wasn't the intent. Just like the intent for Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni was to do X, Y, and Z, and more people happen to like it. That doesn't mean the intent wasn't the same. So what I'm saying is that just because the majority thinks something, that doesn't make it right.
I don't disagree with that, but I will say though that. Just because he says he's in it for the fans, I'm just telling you his first priority is being a good director.
When did you hear him say that?
I'm looking at his actions, Ahmad.
No, but when did you hear him say that? No, because what I'm saying is...
because he constantly, his whole deal he does is he talks about, this is not a good story. This is not how you write a good story. This is not... And that was why he wanted Luke to be so different. That's why he wanted these things that went against the grain of Star Wars, because he goes... This isn't right for a story.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, good. When he was saying it at that time, I was with him because me and you were both talking about this at the time, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, but yeah, I want to see a good story. That's what I want. I mean, I do." And then when I saw some of this stuff he's talking about writing tropes and things to not do, and he went against it, I'm going, "Yeah, but that wasn't a good Star Wars story." And so I just think it's different writing something for the fans versus writing something to be a good director. And I think he is a good director. Dude, Knives Out was amazing. And he's got lots of, and then obviously the stuff he's done with TV with Breaking Bad and all that stuff. I mean, he's great. I don't think he's bad. But I do think that his priority was to be a good director, not a great Star Wars story for the fans.
Okay. Well, like you said, that's your opinion, because I mean, I'm going off of what the man said and what actions, like you said, that he did, because his attention to detail for Star Wars was very evident in The Last Jedi. And the fact that he did take a story, like he was also hand-fed a Luke Skywalker that wasn't a part of the new trilogy. And he took that and said, well, why would he be gone from this situation? What would cause him to do that? And the story met to a T what happened in Star Wars.
I mean, you could have gone.
They took a character
you could have. You could have gone 1,000 different ways with why Luke was on that island.
We did.
You could have, but he also could have just been in the first part of the movie. You're right.
Like, so he made a Star Wars movie to win awards, and he choked. Like, you don't make Star Wars movies to win awards. Go do another Knives Out. Like,
how about you go look at the box office and tell me where he choked at, Shane?
What's that? How much less did he make than Episode 7, Ace?
How did he make over $1 billion, Shane?
You tell me how much less did he make in Episode 7?
To be fair, though, Ahmad, they could release anything Star Wars and it's gonna get a ton of money.
Solo
still made money.
It still made a lot of money.
Did it make $1 billion?
Okay, so let's get really specific, because that's what you want to do. How much exactly did Han Solo make? Tell me exactly how much they made.
Pull it up.
Like, how big of a difference is it?
The domestic gross for Episode 8 was $620,000. Let's see if I can get the international.
Solo made $393.2 million.
Is that total?
Yeah.
Okay. And so it made over $1 billion.
What about What about Rogue One?
And look, and here's the other thing you have to factor in. Obviously, a lot of people saw 7. They were excited about 8. So there's a lot of people that are going to go see 8 without even hearing anything because they didn't want to hear anything. And so just because there's a big number there doesn't mean it was a good movie. You know what I mean?
I understand that. We've already said that there are fans that did not like the movie. We've already established that. I'm going off of your point that said if they release Star Wars, that it's going to make money. I'm just going off facts. I'm not going off because feelings. We'll be here all day going off feelings. Because again, you're saying what you feel based upon what he did, and I'm saying there's another side of that coin. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay, well then let's jump back on our point because I think we both got off. The point is he made a movie for himself and not for the fans.
And that's not a true statement.
And what was your backup again on that?
My backup was that I'm going off what the man said. So I'm going off again fact.
Okay, so we're going off of what somebody says. So I could say
what he said,
and you're going to believe me.
No, I'm going to believe you until you prove me otherwise. So what I'm saying is he said why he was making the movie. He put the information out there. And like I said, what I said was just like with this particular series and what they did with The Mandalorian, both of them had the intent of making great material for fans. One was received better than the other one. That was my point, which was all fact.
It made $700 million less than Episode 7. $700 million less than Episode 7. And it had all the hype coming off of Episode 7.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, though. It really is.
Well, there was 2 things with that though, because Solo happened in between those 2, right?
Happened in May, which was a Bob Iger. He said that it was his fault.
And when you watched the Solo, just the trailers and stuff, people were leery about Solo to begin with, and when they went and watched Solo, it probably didn't help The Last Jedi because they were already kind of had a bad taste a little bit because of that. But if you took all 3 films and you let Rian Johnson have all 3 films,
it would have been better.
It would have been completely different. Because
any movie
would have wrote them all together, and we would have been fine with it.
Any movie
all
that
3
would have
movies
been
feel completely different.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with that, which is why I think The Mandalorian did so well because they had the same head person going through it. The thing was that my only thing is this. I know people are just, Rian Johnson's name is mud in Star Wars to a lot of people. But my thing is that I need y'all to keep that same energy for J.J. Abrams, the one who jacked it all up to begin with. And then he not only that did he jack it up to begin with, he had an opportunity to fix it at the end and he still didn't do it. So JJ is the one to blame for this.
It's not just JJ. It's everyone involved in the new trilogy.
No, it's just JJ.
No, from the top down, because they approved JJ's scripts.
It's just JJ.
You know what?
You're picking and choosing.
Yeah, you just pick and choose. You just pick and choose that you want to hate on. It's from the top down. It's Bob. It's Kathleen. It's JJ.
Right,
it's all of them.
So Shane, keep that same energy with The Mandalorian that Kathleen Kennedy did an amazing job with The Mandalorian. Keep the same energy.
Because she talked a lot of
because she clearly had a huge hand in it.
I mean,
she had a ton to say through the whole thing.
And all the rumors are that she doesn't have any say in The Mandalorian.
Hey, she got to sit at the table and listen to him talk for 8 episodes.
Yeah. I'm not saying the rumors are true. I'm just a lot of the rumors out there are saying that she's basically got what her next project is with the Leslie Headland thing is kind of her main thing. She's got.
How do we always end up with Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy?
Because it's so controversial.
Because we love
Star Wars. Even Episode 9 made over $1 billion. Episode 9 finished 200. Well, I'm guessing it's done.
Episode 9 was rough.
It made 200 million less than Episode 8. It made over $1 billion, and Episode 9 was just.
JJ sucked it up on that too.
Listen,
I'll keep the mistake. Let's talk about how bad JJ did.
This new trilogy was.
No, I'm not. I just want to say one thing about JJ. That's it. My thing.
Somebody at JJ.
All I gotta say is this, right? You had 2 opportunities to deal with Luke Skywalker, and you dropped the ball on both of them, bro.
He had one because we killed him in Episode 8.
But he made some really beautiful scenery.
Yeah, cinematography was great.
Yeah, I mean, so did Ryan Johnson. Some really cool scenes. He just
So
couldn't
does-
put anything
And a
together.
great story.
So
Best
does,
story
a,
in Star Wars.
Garbage
So-
story.
so does a bunch of fans with the fan art. Some really incredible stuff out there, fans do.
There
I
is
mean-
a ton of awesome fan art out there.
Yeah.
Speaking of, okay, so let's just get off this. Speaking of fan stuff, let's flip on over to. I think Joey had actually sent this to all of us,
Yeah.
and it's a
He
fan
showed his
video.
kids too.
Do what?
He showed his kids. This is what he showed his
Oh,
kids.
yes.
Oh,
we're gonna-
yeah. I know what we're looking at. Okay, sorry. I was
Yeah,
like, what are we
this
talking
is
about?
the extra fan made added on for A New Hope with
We're allowed to show
Obi-Wan
this, right?
and Darth Vader.
I think we can show this.
Yeah, it's fan made.
Okay, good. Dude.
Yeah, and then like the fans gonna come after us. I think he'd love that we're big up in him.
Let's do this.
Our long-awaited meeting
Yeah.
has come.
This is how awesome Star Wars fans are. They take the time to redo us.
I was but to learn. Now I am
I mean-
the master.
Only a master of
Watching
evil
it.
gods.
Right there. Here's some.
But all the extra stuff they added in, I mean,
Yeah. So, people that are listening, we're looking at a recreation of Darth Vader and Obi-Wan fighting each other, kind of reimagined to we always laugh about this scene where Obi-Wan really does nothing, and he just kind of gives up and gets hit. And it's just funny because you go from episode 1, where Obi-Wan's flipping and doing all this stuff. I mean, still the coolest fight scene. And
then you get back to New Hope.
yeah, and it's like, hey guys, that's
He goes, this is it.
Spent a lot of years on that planet.
What if the Disney remake, like the special edition, they added that in there?
dude?
I mean,
Pretty cool.
If they would soup it up a little bit on a couple of those cuts with some, some
I will definitely say, if they went back and added stuff in, it would be way better than when George Lucas actually went back through and added some
but
stuff.
how many people would
'Cause
lose
there
their
was some
mind
crap
if
in
Disney
there
went
that
back
was
and
like-
started touching these?
That's the deal. A lot of people would be pissed.
I mean,
Yeah,
people
they
would
would.
lose their mind if
They
they touched
would.
these.
They would.
They
Yeah.
were pissed that
Yeah.
George Lucas went back and added stuff CGI.
This is the only issue I have with this edit is Obi-Wan gets his butt kicked,
Oh.
man.
Well, dude, it's Vader. Dude, Vader is the chosen one.
Yeah, but I mean, Obi-Wan's supposed to be like the quintessential Jedi at this point. Like,
The dude
he's
hasn't
mastered it.
he hasn't picked up a saber in over how many years, bro?
Oh,
Dude,
we
he's
don't
just,
know that.
he's literally
but-
been sitting on the planet bathing in the Force for
See,
30
Shane
years.
has an issue
Yeah.
with old men not being able to swing that saber no more. That's what it is.
I have an issue with poor writing. That's what I have an issue with.
Dude, this is cool. I mean,
This
just
is
look
so
at
cool.
Yeah, it adds a lot to it.
there. It is. There's the crap.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the original.
The little crappy hits there. So good.
Oh, they made it to the ship.
But I mean, Vader at this point in Star Wars. Look, I'm a huge Obi-Wan fan, and I really think Obi-Wan is a better Jedi than we even give him credit for. But Vader is going to take Obi-Wan down at
It's
this
a cool
point.
scene.
Well, at this time, Vader has been used to being in the suit, so he's
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
move a lot better.
And how many Jedi has he been freaking hunting down and just demolishing?
Right.
I mean, at this point,
Yeah.
basically all of them. Oh, this
I
part.
love that
This
cut.
part.
of him saying "I loved you." Oh, that's freaking amazing.
But a lot of this wasn't there before. I mean, you didn't have that
Well,
to actually
yeah.
throw into this.
See, this is just the
That
right better.
smile.
It
Yep.
it makes that smirk so much better too. When after he's done all that stuff, and he's like, "Okay, I've shown that I can at least keep up with you."
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And then
s-
six
here's a
stormtroopers miss 4 people
Yeah,
standing
that's
in the
awesome,
wide
though.
open.
I
I
mean,
mean-
Darth Vader's fully. I mean, well, we know he's not fully gone because he comes back, but he's he's gone, man. He's ready just to kill him. He don't care.
Right.
I just think you can't go back and touch the original lightsaber battles. Like,
You can't. You don't.
can't.
Need to. You don't
You
need
can't.
to. You don't
but the
need to.
fan service, I mean, give me fan
fun.
I
videos
think
all
you
day.
can on that one. That one is worth it, in my opinion.
It's really good.
I mean, it's good as long as Disney doesn't make it into an actual movie. Give me a fan video, but don't touch the actual movie.
Yeah, I get it's fair. That's a fair assumption.
Okay.
Do we really
so-
want Disney tinkering?
Tinkling, maybe. Tinkering.
I would just
How
let's
much we
let's focus on whatever they've got there. Let's focus on the new series. Like, let's not touch the originals.
Speaking of the new series, so did y'all read the stuff that came out this week about the Mandalorian? It might have been last week. They were talking about. Well, they were talking about Ahsoka, and again, if anybody cares about spoilers, you might move forward because. I mean, if you don't want to know anything about the Mandalorian going in, this isn't really, I wouldn't call it a spoiler, but anyway, so here we go. They were just basically talking about how Ahsoka, she's not just going to have like a 30-second like show up and it's like, hey, see y'all later, I'm going to my new, show. But she's going to be like, the reports is it's going to be kind of almost like a Luke Skywalker moment in Last Jedi at the very end where he kind of faces off against all these guys. So we should see Ahsoka as Ahsoka, like we see her at the end of Clone Wars, like really powerful. The other thing they're saying is that she has a blue lightsaber, which I find very interesting. So just to recap, she had the blue lightsabers that Anakin gave her at the end of Clone Wars. And then at the end of Clone Wars, she leaves one, she keeps one. And then the book, what happens in the book? She gets the green,
She gets the white. She builds the white ones.
So then we see her in Rebels, and she has 2 white lightsabers in Rebels, right? And then at the end of Rebels, we see her in this white cloak, because earlier we see her in a gray cloak. And they're saying she's going to have a gray cloak. So I don't know if that means this takes place before the scene.
White?
Well, that's Dave Filoni's deal. He's drawing these parallels with Gandalf. Obviously, he has his Twitter page where
He's drew a bunch, yeah.
Yes. And so she's going to be in a gray. So I don't know if this takes place before we see her at the end of Rebels. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not going to be really mad either way on that. But it is interesting to know that she's going to have a blue lightsaber. And so in my mind, again, I'm speculating and whatever. You can think whatever you want to think. I almost look at it maybe more like she's kind of going towards being back to a Jedi, maybe taking some more of the Jedi ways back up. Again, speculation, whatever. But it's cool to think about that because the other thing I didn't think about is remember at the end of Rebels she has a staff, right? And she's got that staff, and in my head I didn't think about it. I'm like, we assume she probably has her lightsabers under her cloak. Or maybe not. Maybe she's just using a staff now. I don't even know. Either way, I'm pumped to see her fight. The other thing me and Ahmad talked about, that's the deal.
Gandalf one.
The other thing me and Ahmad talked about, I'm surely they're not going to do this. But Moff Gideon, right? He's going to have the Darksaber. If there is a fight between Moff Gideon and Ahsoka should clean the floor with him. It shouldn't even be close. It should take 2 seconds. So unless they do throw some curveball like Moff Gideon has force powers or something, But so I really am excited. Oh, go ahead, Shane. What was your thought?
That would be weird. That would be weird if all of a sudden he just has force powers.
Yeah, well, I just how else is
We've
he's
just
gonna be
seen
able
him, so we don't know.
Yeah, but how else is he going to be able to compete with Ahsoka? But Ahsoka's going to come out and own face as the reports. We're going to see her.
What was the Mandalorian in Clone Wars that had the dark saber? He was able to handle Obi-Wan.
Oh, you're talking
to some
about the guy that Jon Favreau voiced.
Yes.
No.
Or Vizsla.
Yeah.
Vizsla,
Okay.
Yes. He did really good. He had a jetpack and some stuff too. But
Well, that's because Mandalorians are they just know how to use weapons. It's not
They're
about
fighters, right.
yeah. And so the thing is that, according to them, it was a Mandalorian weapon to begin with that the Jedi had and that they stole back. So it's just almost like Finn. He was a stormtrooper, then he was able to wield. Now, well, of course, JJ made him Force sensing at the end, but whatever.
And just I agree.
He definitely could feel the Force, apparently.
I mean, and just look at,
Maybe it doesn't technically say you can feel the Force.
and just look at the arc of Ahsoka from the beginning. Look where she came as a fighter to where we saw her at the end of Clone Wars. Look, do I have to remind you some of these moves she did where she throws her lightsabers around her with the Force and cuts a hole in the floor and they go down. I mean, incredible. I mean,
she does.
If you think about it, we've seen her as a child all the way up, just like we saw Anakin as a child all the way through. So
That's true.
I think we're gonna. I mean, it's just. I think it's going to be great. I think, obviously, they've already filmed it. They've done it all. So I can't wait to see what Dave Filoni, because that's his girl. So
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. I mean, anything Ahsoka, especially live action. I mean, it's gonna be awesome.
Hey,
Yeah.
So talking about Anakin, Shane, why don't you tell us about Darth Vader? Because we got enough time for this. Darth Vader and how he actually gets his lightsaber as a Sith Lord.
Okay, so obviously we all know at the very end he fights at the very end of Episode 3. He fights Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan beats him, doesn't finish him off because it's Star Wars. That would make too much sense. Picks up his lightsaber and leaves him there to essentially burn to death. Right. So at that point, he becomes Darth Vader. He gets his suit and stuff like that, but he doesn't have a lightsaber. Palpatine takes all the lightsabers from the Jedi Temple and he has them destroyed in front of on the Senate steps, basically. And basically, he tells Vader he has to go earn his own lightsaber. He has to go take one. So Vader pulls the list of I'm going to try not to butcher this name of Jedi who had take the it's called the Barish Vow. And basically, what is it's a form of punishment where instead of basically you're cut off from the Order. So you're still a Jedi, but you're cut off from the Order. You can have no contact. You're basically in exile. So Vader gets this list of the Jedi that had taken this vow, and he finds a Jedi Master called Kirik Infila. I probably butchered the last name, so I apologize. And this Jedi doesn't really describe why he had left the Order, but he had taken the vow. He had left the Order. He was a Jedi Master, and he had gone back to his home planet. So Vader tracks him down to his home planet. And this guy knows that the Order fell. This Jedi Master, he knows that the Order fell. He doesn't know why. He can sense Vader's presence, and he can sense Palpatine like a disturbance in the Force, and he decides he's going to go hunt them. But Vader beats him to it, and Vader comes to the planet, and he senses that Vader's there. He has this really cool droid. They get into a huge battle. Vader and the droid. The droid almost beats Vader. Vader ends up killing the droid, and he actually takes some of his parts to rebuild his suit and stuff. And he goes back after this master who doesn't leave the planet. They end up fighting. I think you have this video or this picture, right, Jared?
Yeah.
Go ahead and throw that up.
Pull it up real quick.
So they end up fighting, and this is kind of the essential part. They're fighting, right? And this is epic. They're on top of a dam. And what you see right here is, they're fighting, and Vader's kind of on the losing end of this. But then Vader starts to destroy the dam below his feet. So he stops fighting Vader, and he's trying to stop the water. At that point, Vader takes his saber and cuts him down. And then kind of just to put a cap on it, he destroys the dam and wipes out the entire village. So now Vader's got his hilt, but it's not red, because obviously you have to bleed the crystal. So Vader takes this hilt and he goes to Mustafar. I hope I said that word right. He goes to Mustafar. He goes, to his where he's going to build his temple and stuff. And he tries to bleed the crystal, which is basically where you bend it to your will. The first time he tries to bleed the crystal, he fails, and the crystal resists him. So he tries again, and the crystal resists him again, and it shows him a vision. And it shows Vader a vision of him using that lightsaber. Vader turns from the dark side. He rejects it. He uses that lightsaber, fights Palpatine, and beats him. Vader Vader resists that future. Says, no, obviously I'm not going to do it. So he resists that future, and he finally breaks the will of the crystal. And he bleeds it. And when you bleed it, that's when it goes red. So this is him bleeding the crystal. So he bleeds it. It turns red, and he's still got the hilt of the Jedi Master. So, he goes. He establishes the Inquisition. They're still hunting Jedis and stuff. Little ways down the road, he's on a mission, and he gets into a fight, and someone uses a handheld tractor beam. He gets into a fight, and a mercenary uses a handheld tractor beam to take the lightsaber hilt from Vader. Vader uses the Force to stop him, and basically it's one of those scenes like we see with Kylo and Ren where they're fighting over the lightsaber, and the hilt shatters. Vader's able to recover the crystal. After he deals with the mercenaries, he takes that crystal and he goes to Coruscant, and that's where he builds his saber, the one we see in all the future movies. So long story short, he uses the crystal from that fallen Jedi Master, but he eventually has to create his own hilt after that one gets destroyed. And when he presents it to Palpatine after he builds it, Palpatine praises him and says that I didn't feel like that hilt fits you. That's more to your style, and it's more of like a throwback to the Anakin saber, but obviously it's got the little Darth Vader feel. So Palpatine praises him, and that's where we see Vader's lightsaber that we see in all the future movies. So it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
But he does kill an entire village just to get a lightsaber. So
That's dope.
yeah.
Just like he killed a bunch of younglings just to become.
And those stories are in the Darth Vader comics. Like, you don't have to read a book, but those comics, man, like there's some really cool lore in those things. And I won't deep dive into it, but there's some really cool lore in those Vader comics. There's also a scene where, the whole purpose is him trying to save Padme. And that's part of the reason why he builds his fortress on Mustafar, is there's a nexus there of dark side powers, and he's actually able to contact Padme. Anyway, I won't spoil it, but read the Vader comics. There's some really cool Vader lore in those things.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
You just gave us the book, basically.
Basically, I gave you like 5 books. If you want to, if you want to know Vader's,
comics.
There's a few. It's 2 or 3 episodes that deal with him getting his saber, but it's worth reading. I've read them because I have nothing better to do, so it's worth it.
So, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, while we're on Vader, all of us has finally had the opportunity to play Vader Immortal.
It's so good.
Thoughts?
I enjoyed it. I only got to see the very first part, but it's so good that I felt like I was in between, like at the beginning where you're in the ship area. I felt like I was gonna bump into something because it felt so real, and you're turning around and stuff, and the stuff's flying by you. It was really cool.
I think the best thing I could say about it is I had my older brother play it, and he's not a Star Wars guy, and he was like, I'm going to buy one, and I'm going to buy this game because he wanted to play it. He's like, this is amazing. So I finished episode 1. I haven't started episode 2 yet. So, but at the end of episode 1, you're fighting with Darth Vader, and it's so cool. It's just epic, like fighting with him to like kill things. It's so amazing, fun, very fun.
I can't wait. I haven't gotten to a part with the lightsaber yet, but I have a PSVR, as you can see over there, and to see the difference, like in the technology, to what Ace and Joey has, obviously I'm getting one. Because it's far and away so much better than anything I'd played in VR, and it just it was amazing. Every part of it, the ship, flipping the buttons and walking around. And then you see Vader, and he's taller than you, and you got to look up. Man, so well done.
They actually have some really good Darth Vader lore in there too. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's like characters that you interact with or that really entertain his story as for Vader. So it's got some really good Vader lore in it that you guys have got to see.
I can't wait.
Very cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Any last words?
Sonic's awesome.
Sonic is
Sonic.
awesome.
I think it's interesting that Sonic starts with an S, and Star Wars starts with an S.
What a brilliant time.
Kind of
Yeah.
thinking.
I mean, coincidence? I think not.
We got to start trying out for our 5th, right? We're going to start doing auditions.
Justin,
Right.
come back. I want Justin back. I need Justin back.
I want Justin back too, but where's Justin?
Before we go, I did
Shut
want to
down.
say, Cole, we're using StreamYard.
Yes. I'll message him because I don't know if he's on it or not. Anyways, but yes. So, guys, thank you for watching, hanging out with us. Good episode. Love you guys. Love all you who are watching for us, and definitely hit us
See you next week.
Thursday, 7:30.
Let's roll.
Maybe we'll have Justin.
Let's talk some. I'll talk some Star Wars role playing next week.
I'm good with that. We'll make that happen. Star Wars
Cool.
roleplay. Take it easy.